Hello, Vachana. Good evening.
Hi, Narsi. Good evening.
Pleasure to have you here. We
Pleasure
have
is
with
mine.
us Vachana Shetty. She is the head of marketing at Akshayakalpa Organic. Akshayakalpa is a pioneering Indian brand in the organic dairy segment. They are very well known for their um, butter, ghee, curd, buttermilk, and lots more. I'm sure Vachana will be talking a lot more about Akshayakalpa as we go along. But I also want her to focus on something more interesting, and that is how does a marketing professional who had earlier worked in a conventional sector, how does it feel to work in an organic farm related company? So that's what the next 10 minutes are going to be. I really want her inputs on how it feels for a marketing professional to work in a non-conventional company. Welcome once again, Vachana.
Thank you, Narsi.
So let's
Yeah.
go on with it. Let's go on with it. I know you have a lot of answers, but let me first shoot my questions. Yeah. Firstly, people may want to know a bit more about your background before you joined Akshayakalpa. Can you say something about it?
Yes, I've worked in multiple companies, but through and through the common thread has been marketing. I started off as an event manager. I worked in an event company for about almost close to 4 years. Post which I took a break. I did my master's from Narsi Monji, and then worked with Z for some time. I went to Pune where I did a lot of trekking apart from working, but that's where the passion for treks started. And then I came back to Bangalore. I was with Himalaya. Then I have worked with a brand consulting firm as well as an advertising agency. So Akshayakalpa for me honestly feels like a culmination of all my experiences, like all the experience that I have picked up from these companies, I'm able to utilize over here.
But what made you switch to Akshayakalpa? I know you had worked in Himalaya, which also has some alignment with what Akshayakalpa does, but you switched to Akshayakalpa a year and a half back or something like that.
Yeah.
Was there a specific motivation with which you made the switch?
See, I think I felt like, honestly, for me, there's like a very strong value alignment. I was already an organic consumer. I used to buy organic products for, 10 years before I joined Akshayakalpa. And I've always struggled with sourcing organic, right? It's not easy to find food anymore that is truly organic or truly pure and nutritious. So that journey has been a part of my life, and so has this whole journey of trying to be a little sustainable, trying to do right by the planet, trying to recycle maybe. And the third thing I feel is that I was already an Akshayakalpa customer for about 2 years. As soon as my child was born, that was a point, though in spite of being an organic consumer, I had not thought of organic milk. I did not think milk could be organic, but when I had a baby, that was a time where we stopped to think about this as well. And that's how Akshayakalpa entered my life. So when I got an opportunity, I felt like this is a great, switch, because I'm already a consumer. I already love the product. I know that it's a great product, and the value on many things was there. So yes.
So in a way, you are not the typical marketing professional working in a corporate. There already was some amount of alignment that you already had with the ethos of companies such as Akshayakalpa, correct?
I don't know what like a typical marketer would be like, but yes,
I think they will be quite different from you if you really want a very short answer, but that's okay. Let me go on to something more important, and that's what I really want you to spend some time on, which could be very, very interesting and useful to many others who aspire to do something like what you're doing in their careers. What do you think are the real differences, or what do you feel are the real differences between the marketing or the experiences you are having as a marketing professional at Akshayakalpa vis-a-vis, let's say, some of the more corporate firms that you have worked in earlier? What are the key differences that you really feel?
So again, I think it goes back to values. I think at Akshayakalpa there is transparency is huge. Akshayakalpa works whether it is with employees or with customers. It maintains a very high level of transparency. So much so that over 10,000 of our customers have visited the Akshayakalpa farm to see what we do, to see how we grow the fodder that the cow eats, how we treat our soil, how we treat the vegetables, how we treat our cows. And on the basis of that, on the basis of that, they take the decision whether they want to or do not want to be Akshayakalpa customers, right? So that I think is one. I think the boardroom conversations, or not boardroom, but management conversations at Akshayakalpa are quite different. There's a lot of focus and emphasis on nature and farmers, and like farmer is truly our largest stakeholder. A lot of decision making that happens around the farmer. And I think the empathy that I have built, I may not have had it at all when I joined Akshayakalpa, or I had very little of it. I only looked at farmer as someone who could, who played a role in producing food. But today I see him as an entrepreneur. I see him as, someone without whom none of us can exist, honestly, right? Because so there's a lot more respect that has developed. I'll give you an example of one conversation which happened in the initial few months of joining, which was there was a tree in our Tiptur farm, coconut tree, and which had there were no coconuts growing, or the leaves had all fallen off. And so there was a conversation in one of the meetings where the idea was to uproot the tree, right? And then there was an inspection done by Shashi, who's our founder, and he came back and said that just look at it. Though it's not giving you coconuts, there is a family of birds living in that tree. And how can we be so selfish that just because it's not giving us what we want to uproot it? So these are the kind of conversations that happen in our meetings. Or for example, there was this whole conversation about a poultry farmer and how much they make on a monthly basis. And and just knowing these numbers, I think it really humbles you to know the kind of effort that is put into and for the kind of money that they make out of it. So all of those things I feel are like very different and very unique perspective, which not just helps you to grow as a professional, but I think it helps you to grow as a human. I think that's a huge difference that I have experienced. Right? Like, and another example I want to give you is, I don't think and I speak for myself, like I don't think I cared enough about food waste. For example, I would take, and then if I didn't like it, I would just, throw it into the bin. And at Akshayakalpa, that's a huge crime. You're not allowed to waste food at all. And that has brought a huge difference in the way I help myself with servings, even at home, even when I go out, so it's such transformations, small at a small level, but it happens to you at Akshayakalpa. Yeah.
That's very interesting. And you also mentioned about the farm trips. So that also might have made you feel quite different about the way you guys work, because part of your work also involves going to your farms, visiting them along with some of your prospects and guests. So that would have added an additional flavor.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just love taking my child with me whenever I go to the farm, because it's just 2 days that he gets at the farm, so yeah, so that's another thing. And they're very welcoming. I mean, as a company, when I joined, my kid was 2 years old. So, the kind of the extent to which they went to, because the induction is at the farm and you need to stay at the farm for 5 days. And, you need to go to farmer farms, you need to go to, non-Akshayakalpa farms to basically understand, to get to, to like get like a crash course on everything that Akshayakalpa does, right? So, yeah, so very welcoming that way. Even with a child, like the child was part of all the things that I did in those 5 days. But yeah, farm trips are beautiful. I think it's a great way to, like, while it is work for us, it's also a great way to unwind a little, just be with nature, just see customers having such a great time, speak to customers. It's also a great place to meet our customers, and see them enjoying harvesting vegetables or going and petting cows. It's beautiful. Yeah.
So who said you cannot do business and pleasure together? Yeah. Last question to you, Vachana. So I'm sure there are lots of people who are aspiring for careers like these where they can be more aligned to nature, they can be a part of nature as part of the job. What would your suggestions be, or what would your thoughts be for those people who want a shift like you have had?
Yeah, so I mean, for any shift, right? Like, I mean, I would say just look for, see, I've worked in multiple companies, so I would say that look for value alignment, because if that happens, I think like 90% of and of course, you should get a good boss and all of those, the work environment and culture. But I think if the value alignment is there, it really takes care of most of your days at the new workplace. Like, for example, I personally felt strongly about recycling. And when I joined and I heard that Akshayakalpa was already trying to do something in this space, where we were trying to launch our milk in a paperboard because we wanted to reduce the amount of plastic. And then we launched this initiative called Let's Give Back the Milk Pack, where we started collecting milk packets back from our customers. The opportunity to do something like this, which is so close to your heart, can happen if there is value alignment, right? If the company also feels a certain way, and then they'll give you, a free hand to do things that you feel passionately about.
Vachana, thank you very much for all your insights. On all the very best in your career at Akshayakalpa.
Thank you so much, Narsi. Really nice speaking to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.